Diamond at the end of time. A la Carrera on the run again, and the federales on my tail. And I don't mean the federales, but true hounds of hell. But I was in Mexico. Much madness is divinest sense, and it was me that said that, though Shakespeare would never admit it, follow me around all the fucking time with his little notebook and the Parker pen I gave him. I mean, he deserved it, even though he took what the hounds were after. Yeah, he had the mojo. And so there I was outside a little cantina in Nutty Iguana country. Senor Carrera to the Mexicans, and waiting for what? But when you are looking for the diamond at the end of time, it might not matter that hellhounds are on your trail. And you are drunk again, rock drill. It does not cohere on the third lunation. They keep watch on the hilltops. The moon was big and yellow and bleary, so I was feeling fine, and it was midsummer. I was thinking about Shakespeare, take and take, motherfucker, and the moon was big, and you think, I'm running again, the Black Zorro, and then the moon winks at you, and you are someplace else, and that's how it happens, back in time, or somewhen, or somewhere. Man, I was just back from London, 1590 or so. I never exactly checked, and it's so strange. Everyone you see there on the London Bridge, as you smell the stench, everyone is dead, but the stench is from the river. I never thought death had undone so many, another fine line of mine stolen. But here I was, a black man in a white hat with a white feather and a silver suit, but they never gave me the glance. No glance, only a thing wrong was my boot heels were too low. They knew how to dress then, and there it was, the Globe Theater, show out around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As it always is at times like these, when you are flung backward in time, and you know the little guy with the devil beard, the ink-stained wretch squatting outside the theater, trying to write something with a goddamn quill, as the producer screams at him, and he acts like he's someplace else, his lips moving, writing as a bard himself, Mr. William Shakespeare, blotting the hell out of his lines. And there is a tide in the affairs of men. You gotta catch it at the sticking point. It's like this. And I explained it to Shakespeare after I helped him out with what to do when the bad guys get to drop on the hero. You gotta have a distraction, I told him. Christ, don't you know that? And the bad guys look away, and the hero grabs a sword, and it's best if you have a chandelier to swing from. As he cries, thump, horse and hound, taste cold steel. And it's in his place somewhere, someplace. So I went right up to him and I took his hat. He jumped up. Shakespeare, my man, I said. Give me back my hat. I am not your man, he said. And then when he looked at me, he cried, Amour! And I gave him back his hat and smiled and said, yeah, love gets you into trouble. I know you got dark lady problems, but I ain't here for that. Then I took out my Parker pen and said, this is for you. Yeah, it's a pen. Try it. And he did. Who are you? He said. A free black man from the seacoast of Bohemia, I told him. And he didn't blink, geography not being his strong suit. We gotta talk. Let's go, man. And he just nodded. We'll go to the mermaid. You interest me strangely. And I could tell what had happened to him before, the deer-stealing son of a bitch. Because he had a little smile as he picked up his quill. You won't be needing that anymore, I said. You got a Parker pen there with endless ink, so don't try that shit on me. What do you know? What do you know about the diamond? What diamond, he said. That will be the diamond at the end of time. Rock drill, he said. Is immortal diamond, he said. Brother, I said, he smiled. Let's be off to the mermaid, fine canary wine, and the lascivious pleasings of a lute. Milton stole that line. Shakespeare would have, but he was sweating like you do when you meet a free black man from the 20th century giving you a fine Parker pen with endless ink and some of your best lines. We got drunk first, of course. Ben Johnson came in. What a damn bore. But we didn't pay him no attention. Okay, I said. You always calling people whore sons in your plays. Bill, why don't you just say motherfucker means the same thing? And he laughed and wrote it down. And he admitted, yes, he knew about the diamond. And then the shadows seemed to get more like real fucking scary shadows then. He said, all right, I know. Ezra Pound sent you. He promised to come back. I tried not to act scared. When was this, I asked, and where? His scene, he said, Nova Vita, the Commonwealth, the far shore of the third lunation. What the fuck does that mean, I asked as I melted into the air. Full, big, foolish, compounded, folly, fallen footmen, spars on plenty of flickering liberty gibbets, flux of flouting stock, flawless flax wrenches, clearing and flat-mouthed flirt gills and fleshmongers, full-gored yet frustrating. Pay jocks and pantaloons, you scream and no one hears as you melt. The crystal fretting, CF, is fractured. A certain ontological void is created. The exterior envelope is palpitated to effect a hiatus in the lattice work dehiscence or fission. De facto, of course, always implicated in a liminal porosity, but anticipated invagination of light delayed, and the da of sa, and the non-place of forestelling, temporarily inhibited by glycerin. All glockenspiel calls him the CF to grow and glutted by vacuum, awaiting glissando. You get pretty fucking tense, and no wonder. All you want is a margarita, and then another, and then another, as you find yourself with all the gin joints in the world in a Mexican cantina where you have to take your tequila straight, and you know what you have, what all hell wants. You know you have what all hell wants. All hell wants, which includes Mr. Ezra Pound. So you are outside of that cantina, and it happens again. We go all dark now. You step out into the dark.